Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد. We have started from Surah Iqra. Now we have reached this Surah. Even though we normally do 2 surahs in a day, yeah? But today, because this Surah requires a lot of thinking and you need to focus a lot, and there's lots of things that's happening in this Surah. And I think it is one of the difficult surahs that one can talk about, especially in this Juzz. Because we need to tackle it from 2 different perspectives. One is if it's a Makki Surah, or if it's a Madini Surah. The Qurans that you have in front of you, it will say, what does it say, Adhan in your Quran? Which Surah is it? Where did it review? Makki, yeah? In your Quran, it will say Makki. But majority of the Tafseer that you ever read, they will be linking it to a Madani Surah. So there is a talk that we need to tackle, yeah? So concentrate, inshallah. It's very important surah, very important. Okay. So those who say it's a Madani surah, we'll give a quick intro to that. Those who say it's a Madani surah, what they say basically, that after Sulh Hudaybiyah, when the hostility of the criminals of Quraysh, it drained down because now they have a agreement, yeah? And Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is now in Medina, as we know. And now the people who were in Medina, the criminals over there, their plots and things started. And their tricks and whatever they were planning to do, they started, and that's when the surah was revealed for Rasulullah to seek refuge with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now those who say it's a Makki surah, let's go to a bit of details so we can understand where we're coming from, and it's very relevant to our time, because you do not remember, yeah, in these lessons that when we talk, no matter what we talk about, whether it's Shan Nuzuli or linking, whatever it is, it has to have a link with our lives. Otherwise, the books are full of so much information that you will get fed up from the information. So I'm not gonna, don't mention things which is not relevant. So even the background information that I'm giving you, you need to ponder, you need to think why I'm talking about it or what I am saying. I do not have to spell everything out, yeah? So concentrate, Rehan, make sure you are here, yeah? Don't go to sleep, please. Okay, so number 1, they say when the da'wah started, yeah, when Rasul started preaching and it became public, it was like Rasul like, you know, in Pashto, yeah, I don't know, like the bees hub, what they call it, that thing, the bee thing, hive, yeah, it is like touching that. And the same thing, so like Rasul had provoked all sorts of classes and societies, and especially those families whose girls, whose boys have become Muslims. So that have caused so much problem for them. Now they are fighting within their houses, they have different opinions, they're not going along with each other. One person is now hating another. There is a problem in the society, the clans not liking each other, yeah, they are oppressing each other on the street. So they're like saying, or they, even in the houses, the propaganda and the evil thing about Rasulullah and the message of Rasulullah reached new heights. Like, what has he done? Like, look at this, how much problem he has brought to this society, basically. So this kind of agenda became well known, and this thing will still happen in our societies. When you stand up with Quran, when you want to implement Quran in your lives, yeah, especially in your cultures, in your societies, in your houses, people are like, what's wrong with this guy? Why is he standing up against mortgages? Why is he standing up against this problem, that and this? What's wrong with you? Why can't you just live and chill out? Or you living in UK? Look at everyone else. Have you got in genuine? Yeah, basically that kind of situation. Yeah, so same thing. Na'udhu billah, they say about Rasulullah that he is like a troublemonger. He has caused this problem in our societies. But in reality, these problems and the filth existed in them. But Rasulullah only are removing this filth, so they are smelling it. They are now feeling the the horror of it. Example of it is like, in villages, we have these animals dung hubs, yeah, what they call it, the Diranuna, yeah, like they have this collection station for animal dung, yeah. Those who knows about villages, if it's left like this, there is no smell whatsoever. But as soon as you try to remove it, the entire village can hear or smell, feel this the stink of it. Yeah. Or same thing in Kabul and Afghanistan. Yeah, when they remove the thing where people pee. Yeah, when they remove that thing, otherwise there is no big smell even if you go sit in that hole. But as soon as the guy comes in and start to remove it, then the entire locality will hear the smell. But in reality, that existed there. It was already there. This guy is here to remove it. So it's a terrible example, but so you can understand the filth was there in the society. Rasul, Quran came to remove this filth. Yeah. So they will be burned at the beginning, like we said at the beginning. Yeah. On the rope, this is habl of Allah, rope that has come down. So you will hold on to it. Beginning, it will be tough and hard. You need to push yourself. But at the end, when you see the light and so on, you will be able to go further. Yeah. So same thing. Rasulullah has come, and this thing has now stunk, and the people are now fighting each other. They're not appreciating each other, and so on. So they started all sorts of propaganda against Rasulullah to such an extent that they wanted to kill Rasulullah. Yeah. So they gathered in a place, yeah, during the night or during the silent hours to come with plans and so on. So they plotted to do that, and then Rasulullah had to migrate from Mecca. Yeah. Does that make sense? So you have understood this situation, and the ulama say at this time this surah is revealed, and because all the things that I have mentioned, when we talk about the ayahs by ayahs, you will be able to understand which part I'm talking about, which part I mentioned just now. So I hope you are focused. So now this is the situation, and the ulama links the two surahs. So Rasul is going through this dilemma, these issues in the society. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes and say to him basically that what you need to do is that you turn yourself in the refuge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So basically you'll say, I seek refuge with the Lord of the Falaq from the evil of everything that He has created, and from the evil of the darkness of night, and from the evil of propaganda of men and women, and from the evil of envious. And the next surah will continue, I seek refuge with the Lord of mankind, the King of mankind, deity of mankind, from the evil of whisperer who return over and over again, and who whispers evil into the heart of men, whether he be from among the jinn or men. So this is like a dua, and this is like, we will understand this. The same thing has happened to Musa alayhi salam. When Fir'aun, he collected his people in his thing, and he started to make a plan against Musa alayhi salam. So same thing has happened. وَقَالَ مُوسَى إِنِّي عُذْتُ بِرَبِّي وَرَبِّكُمْ أَن تَرْجُمُونَ. وقال موسى إني عوذت بربي وربكم من كل متكبر لا يؤمن بيوم الحساب. This is the first. But Musa alayhi salam said, indeed I have sought refuge in my Lord and your Lord from every arrogant one who does not believe in the day of account. In a different place, وإني عوذت بربي وربكم أن ترجمون. And truly I seek refuge with my Lord and your Lord, lest you should stone me. And Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu, comes in Tafseer Kathir, he says this refers to verbal assault, which means verbal stuff, yeah, which means any source of insults. And then Qatada, he says this also, as well as to verbal stuff, it refers to before some sort of actions reach Musa alayhi salam. So he made dua, oh Allah, safeguard me from these criminals, basically, yeah. So same thing, Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam has been given similar medicines, that you need to turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and need to seek His refuge. Yeah, does that make sense where we're coming from? So Musa alayhi salam had same, and Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam has been given same medication from same God, yeah, from same Allah. Like in example, it would be like from same doctor, yeah. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, and this is part of Tawheed basically, yeah. This is Tawheed, because the fear of the people and the love of the, because people want you to bend down to them, then they will stop harming you, yeah. When you listen, when you obey them, then they will stop harming you. Or if you start fearing them and then you bend down and you give up, yeah, then they will stop. So basically you're saying that the only fear that I have is the fear of Allah, and the only love that I have is the love of Allah. So I will stand up against no matter who they are, no matter how threatening they are, I will stand up against them. And I will stand up against every beloved of mine who drag me away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is the actual implementation of Qul Ya Ayyuhal Kafirun, which we have recently done, that your allegiance will be only with Allah. Those people who stand against Allah, you will stand against them. Those people who stand with Allah, you will stand with them, even if they're your enemy, no matter who they are. But as long as they're with Allah, you are with them. If they're against Allah, they are nobodies to you, yeah? Like it comes in the Surah of in the Sahaba stories, yeah, that you hear. That the one whom they had connection with was from, even if they were from different clans, normally they would hate each other, normally they would compete with each other. But when Islam came in, they became like one brothers, that even if they, no matter who they were. But the other person who was his own brother, his father and so on, he was ready to chop his head off because he was standing against Allah. So at that point, I hope it makes sense. One issue that we need to tackle in here, you may hear it, and these criminal bring it in the sometime in da'wah mission, yeah, speakers corner, yeah, in those kind of places, you will hear those people, and there is one issue that comes, that they cause doubt in Quran, and they say that it comes in your books, the Tafseer books and Bukhari and so on. They comes in there that Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, yeah, is Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, yes, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, that he had an opinion that Qul a'udhu Al-Falaq and Qul a'udhu bin Nas is not part of Quran. This is what they say. Yeah. However, this opinion is wrong, and it is not. Even though I have done a video with regards to this surah and more details, you can find the other opinion that I have given, where even if someone says yes, it's attributed to Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radhiallahu anhu, then there are ways that we can tackle this. But the best way, yeah, that I'll even give you references, is not just saying for myself, yeah, I'll give you the ulama, those who they affirm that this, yeah, no matter who they are, they will confirm this. That this view that which is regarded to Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radhiallahu anhu, that he did not believe in Qul a'udhu Falaq, Qul a'udhu bin Nas to be part of the Quran, is wrong. It's not a right opinion, and it has been attributed by the criminals against Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radhiallahu anhu. One, first of all, he was a Qari, and he was given this certificate by Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself. When Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam gives a certificate to someone, then this guy is not someone that you can doubt. Yeah, I mean, this guy is a legend in what he is. And it comes in a hadith. He says, "Khudul Quran min arba'ati min Abdullah ibn Mas'ud," and so on. Yeah, the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam take Quran from the four, and one of them was Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. And the riwayah that we read, Hafs, one is an Asim and the other in Shu'bah. In there, in that chain, you will find Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. So the Quran that we have, that riwayah wouldn't with us. If you had that riwayah, you wouldn't have Qul a'udhu Falaq and Qul a'udhu bin Nas and Surah Fatiha in it, yeah, in that chain, but it's still there. So it means that it is affirmation that Abdullah ibn Mas'ud did believe that, and it was in his Mus'haf. And who says that this is a weak and it's a fools against, like a buhtan against Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, is Imam al-Nawawi, the one who has written Riyadh al-Salihin. He says this is a fool's things against Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. And of them is another one, Ibn Hazm. He says, كل ما روي عن ابن مسعود من أن المعوذتين وأم القرآن لم تكن في مصحفه فكذب موضوع لا يصح، وإنما صحت عنه قراءة عاصم عن زر بن حبيش عن ابن مسعود وفيهما أم القرآن والمعوذتان. He says that this, to need this meaning, yeah, these people who are saying that this is the opinion of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radhiallahu anhu, it's wrong, it's mawdu', it's fabricated, it's nothing to do with the reality, basically. Yeah. So this is one way of you. So just in case you hear this, oh, Abdullah Mas'ud do not believe in Qul a'udhu Falaq and Qul a'udhu bin Nas, one of the great Sahabi. Yeah. So you at least understand that this is not a correct opinion. And even those who says that it is related to Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, you can look at videos and you'll be able to understand how we tackle that. But we don't have time here because we need to go to the surah. Another issue, now going to the actual surah by itself. What is the main agenda of the surah? So the ulama say this is in here, you seek refuge with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from any worldly harms or hifazati jan, looking after your physical body. For this is what you seek refuge with. And the next surah is your hifazati of iman, to your faith, or the affairs which is related to akhirah, and that you seek refuge in the next surah. That's how they come. But just linking with the previous surah, Qul huwallahu ahad, basically in there we had two attributes, yeah? Qul huwallahu, or two other attributes, which is ahad and samad we did, yeah? So ahad, the explanation of ahad was Qul huwallahu ahad. If you want to know what ahad is, look at Qul huwallahu ahad, read this translation, you will understand what ahad is. Now if you want to understand the tafsir of samad, yeah, then look at Qul a'udhu Al-Falaq and Qul a'udhu Rabbin Nas. Basically, Samad was the one whom you turn to in time of need. And what is this? Qul a'udhu Al-Falaq, Qul a'udhu Rabbin Nas. You're turning to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in time of need for your protection. This is the one whom you turn to. Does that make sense? Is that understood? Okay, other linking with the previous surah. So as we said, this is tafsir of surah, of the word, of the attribute of Allah, which is Samad. Another is that in the Qul Huwallahu Ahad was all Tawheed, all sides of it. We talked about that in great details, yeah? Everything that you can think about in Tawheed is present in Qul Huwallahu Ahad. Now you have this vision, you have this amazing treasure. For that you need guardians. And the two next surahs are like there is guardians that is protecting it. One is from your outer problems, which is external issues. This is happening in Qul a'udhu Al-Falaq. And the other one is your internal issue that will come, which is happening in Qul a'udhu Rabbin Nas. So another way, Qul huwallahu ahad, you need to protect Surah Ikhlas. You make sure that any issue that comes in dunyawi fashion, anything that's related to dunya, afat, that comes in, that you are standing firm, or anything which is related to your ukhrawi, that is protected, which is happening in Qul a'udhu Rabbin Nas. And another way, in Qul Huwallahu Ahad, we learn that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is unique. He does not beget, He is not begotten, He does not have anyone like similar to Him. There is no kufu. We talked about that in great details. And now in this surah we learn Qul a'udhu bi Rabbil Falaq. One of the meaning of falaq is that which split, and like the seed which splits, we will be able to talk about this, and things comes out, which talks about the creation. Nothing will be able to go forward if there is no splits. You cannot grow forward till mummies and things splits, yeah? Then the splits needs to happen. Seeds needs to split in order for the vegetation to come out. There needs to be splits in order for things to survive, for things to go forward. Does that make sense? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is completely opposite of that. Does that make sense? Which is happening in Qul Huwallahu Ahad. Creation needs splits, the Creator does not. Does that make sense? Yes? I'll ask you, yeah? Remember. Next one. In Surah Qul Huwallahu Ahad. Now you have affirmed, you have believed in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now everything that comes between you and Allah, yeah, that stands come in front of you, you're going to go back to Qul a'udhu Al-Falaq and Qul a'udhu Rabbin Nas. You will ponder over these ayats and you will implement what these are saying. It is not like you wish to be safeguarded from rain and tornado and you say, I want to be safeguarded from tornado, I want to be safeguarded from rain and so on. You just stand out there. You need to go find a shelter, yeah? Does that make sense? Same thing you need to do. You need to go and understand what these surahs are, and you need to implement them in your life. Then you will be protected under the shade, under the protection of Allah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, the Rabb of Falaq. Ar-Rahman, the entirely merciful, Lord of the one in heavens and the earth. Ar-Rahim, the especially merciful. He gives refuge to His servants against the loss of Tawheed. Before we start the surah, there is a sequence that's going in these two surahs. Qul a'udhu Al-Falaq and Qul a'udhu Rabbin Nas. We're not doing Qul a'udhu Rabbin Nas, but we just need to kind of link it. It's easy for you to understand. Okay, first of all, when we seek refuge with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's in the first ayah, Qul a'udhu Al-Falaq. Then it's mentioned min sharri ma khalaq. It talks about all evil. Yeah, all sorts of evil of the creation. That has been talked about. Then it becomes more specific. Wa min sharri ghasiqin idha waqab. Talking about the night, because night are one part of the 24-hour, yeah? So it became more specific. It became less. And then it goes to wa min sharri nafathat fil uqad. It becomes to the groups and types of people who causes damage. So it became even less. Yeah, of course, in nights there will be animals, there will be other things. So it became more or less. And then وَمِن شَرِّ حَاسِدٍ إِذَا حَسَدٍ, it becomes singular to one person who has envy against you, who shows envy. And then the next surah even becomes more specific, which is one sentence basically. Yeah, قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ is one sentence. And it's talking about the worst, who has the worst hasad against you. Who is that? Shaitan. Come on, man. So it becomes extremely specific as it goes down. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay. It's an interesting point for you to remember. Okay, first ayah. قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ. Say, I seek refuge in the Lord of daybreak. Or in another way, he who brings forth. So, first of all, you have declared by saying قُلْ أَعُوذُ, you have declared that you are in need of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is your actual implementation of the word Samad. Remember, yeah, the word Samad, the attribute of Allah, the one whom you need to turn to in time of need. So you have done this. Now, it is only, just imagine, it's only rational. The one whom you need protection of, the one whom you are in need of, how can you disobey him? So you cannot have Tawheed, proper Tawheed, and then disobey him. Does that make sense? Even if you disobey, you make sins, you turn to Allah, you ask for his forgiveness, because now you're going to regret that. This is why you have Tawheed. Another, and here who is being instructed? Qul, Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Yeah. So if Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam is in need, what about me and you? So we'll definitely turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for protection. Another, in here is in education. How you turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for protection. Are you going to make your own ways? You're going to make ta'weez, you're going to make your own spells and charms and things like that? You're going to go to a grave and sit in the grave and seek some sort of, I don't know, whatever you're going to do. Is there something that what is the way of Allah? It's here. You turn to Allah by words, no written stuff, no whatever other things people do. You turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with your tongue and with your heart. You turn to Allah, the protection of Allah will come to you. You don't do any other silly stuff. Does that make sense? So it's an education for you, how you turn to Allah. How do you seek refuge? How do you seek protection? Does that make sense? So these are so many things. Another, when you say a'udhu, it's not like فَإِذَا قَرَأْتَ الْقُرْآنَ فَاسْتَعِذْ بِاللَّهِ. So you seek, Allah asks you when you recite, when you start reading Quran, yeah, then you seek refuge. So this is really seeking refuge. Now you're not saying I seek refuge. This is, I'm not sure if it's a proper translation. You're not seeking, you are actually entering into the protection of Allah. You are following the words of Allah that He tells you to seek. Now you are actually entering in the protection of Allah. And there is great talk, the ulama talks about this. And then it says that it is in a present tense. I seek refuge, which is in the present tense. What is the ulama say? As long as there are threats, as long as there are evil, as long as you are living in this dunya, you will be in need of the protection. So you keep on turning to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for protection. Another thing, you see, it is from, because everything that happens in our lives, it is from the decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when we have little children, we teach them these surahs. قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِالْفَلَقِ قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِالنَّاسِ إِنَّا أَعْطَيْنَاكَ الْكَوْثَرَ إِذَا جَاءَ نَصْرُ these, yeah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made a system for you, which it has become easy for you to seek refuge. So you seek protection. So you don't have any excuse whatsoever. Yeah, you don't run behind evil people for you to do some sort of charms and some sort of spells, so you are protected. So you don't need to do that. It is already instilled in you. It has already become so easy for you. Yeah, does that make sense? Another, the Rabb, the word Rabb, we have talked about this in great details in Surah Alaq, but just a quick, why Rabb, the word Rabb has been mentioned. First of all, it says, قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ. So the one clear understanding, everyone can understand. If He is the Rabb of all creation, Falaq, we will talk about this. Yeah? He is the Rabb of all the creation. So whatever out there is, who do you turn to? Like, example, yeah, I think it's in Pashto. The Malikta dispo boy kana the speedy koreka, yeah. Who owns the dogs? You tell the guy, the owner, to keep these dogs with you. Let him stop barking, yeah. So you tell the owner who has the control over those things. Same thing. Allah is the owner of everything. He is the Rabb of Rabb al-Falaq, everything. Yeah. So that's He's only wise that you turn to that master for protection. And what is this Rabb? It consists of various different attributes that ulama talks about. Number one, he is Al-Malik, he is the owner. Yeah. The other one is Sayyid, he has authority. Like you can own something, like I can own, for example, a car, but can I use it the way I want to? No, it has to be within the limits. I do not cross the red lights and so on. I cannot put extra modifications. I cannot drive on a different side. I don't have the full authority. Does that make sense? So Allah is the one who is the owner and He has full authority. He is Al-Murshid. He is the one who does not neglect. He does not abuse. I can abuse this car. I can drive it on these bumps, like if I'm flying, if I'm taking off or something like that. Yeah, I can abuse. Yeah, but Allah Subhanahu does not do that. Another, He's Al-Murabbi. He's the nourisher. He keeps on, like we can, for example, a child, yeah, your mom is the one who looks after you, your parents looks after you, but they give you to such an to certain level. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who has given you nourishment all the way from the beginning. Yeah, the parents, the one they eat, what they ate, yeah, how did the sperm came to existence, and then when they go inside, there you got nourishment in there. When you come out, there is nourishment. When you grow older, there is nourishment. When you become older, mature, you have Quran, Sunnah, the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to lead Him. So nourishment upon nourishment and nourishment until you reach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All are nourishments. Allah has provided that for you. Al-Qayyum, the one who ensures existence. It's not just for 1 or 2 days that you have been given blessings. It is continuous. Al-Mun'im, the one who has given. Do you have any claim over Allah? Did you own this? Did you really deserve that? No. All of them, whatever Allah has given to you is gift. You didn't own anything. You didn't have any authority whatsoever. So this Rabb contains all these according to some ulama. What is Falaq? There are various opinions. You can look at Qurtubi and you get tired of reading these opinions. Yeah. But we take one. We take actually two, but both are connected together. And this comes in Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Inna Allah faliqul habbi wan nawa wa faliqul isbah. One is the seeds which splits and things comes out. This is one. Yeah. So the one who brings forth, basically. And the other one is when the night has been split and the day comes out. So what is it? It is again a splits. So all these splits that happens, this is what the Rabb is. And very interesting point in here. And we will link that. What did you say? It is all creation. Yeah, Falaq is all creation. Because the day when comes out from the night is creation. When the baby comes out is a creation. When the seeds comes out is a creation. Whatever you can think. The mountain split and the water comes out is creation. The cloud split and the thing comes out. Whatever. The body, the blood comes out and so on. Yeah, all, everything that splits in order for you to continue. So, in Qul A'udhu Rabbil Falaq and Qul A'udhu Rabbin Nas is talking about creation. Nas is the best of the creation, yeah, the human being. So these are talking about creation. Does that make sense? Rabb, the master of the creation. And same thing, the first surah that was revealed according to one of the opinion. Iqra, Bismi Rabbika alladhi khalaq. Talking about the creation. The first surah in the Quran, or the first surah to be revealed in full, at least this is one of the opinion. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Rabb, master of all the worlds. Creation. Does that make sense? So no matter where you start, whether it's talking about the ending of the Quran, the middle of the beginning of the revelation, or the starting of the Quran, wherever, it is all Tawheed upon Tawheed, and everyone are dependent on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Does that make sense? So all, everywhere you look, there's the same message. You need to recognize your master. You need to recognize your Rabb. Does that make sense? مِن شَرِّ مَا خَلَقَ. From the evil of that which He created. From the evil of that which He created. So there is a hint, the ulama talk about it, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking, in here is talking about the shar of the creation. Not the shar that Allah has created. By this, the ulama say that the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created, the actual purpose was for its goodness. But it has the other side of it, yeah, which has evil, like fire. It has both sides. You can use it the way you want to use. You can, like the tsunamis that happens, or the rain that comes, there has benefit and it has consequences. It has issues, the earthquakes, it has benefits and it has problems. Everything has that, yeah. So by saying or in other ulama, they say that by this you a reference to yourself, that you seek refuge from your self-harm, that before you harm yourself, You seek refuge Allah with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And other ulama, they say that you see when, what is it? By saying the evil of that which these creation contain. By Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala telling you that He has the control of these evil, meaning if He wants to bring flood on someone, if He wants to bring earthquake on someone, if He wants to cause whatever harm He wants to cause to to whoever, He can. So He has these armies with Him. So instead of now you finding a different God for causing, for annihilating your enemy, you have that same God you turn to. So whatever you need protection for yourself, or you need the wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala over your enemy, you turn to that same Allah. Another issue the ulama talks about this with regards to that. You see, when you say قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِالْفَلَقِ قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِالنَّاسِ, yeah, these are not just verbal stuff and then you leave it. Yeah, you do not expect to read قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِالْفَلَقِ قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِالنَّاسِ قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ and so on. Read it to yourself and then you just go to sleep. Yeah, while your fire is on, while your heating is on, while the doors are open for the enemy to come in, while you don't look after any of your safety measures. You will do everything in your capacity to protect yourself. Then you will turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for further protection. Does that make sense? Like it comes in Quran, وَالَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا فِينَا لَنَهْدِيَنَّهُم سُبُلَنَا. You will find, you will struggle, you will look for every opportunity, yeah, to reach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you guidance. You will do everything in your capacity. Like if you were to say that just protection with your tongue is sufficient, then Rasulullah could have just seek protection from everything. He hasn't had to go to battles, he hasn't had to go Badr and Uhud and so on. He could have just said that and that's it, done, deal. Yeah, it requires your action. The words is not merely that it is you read spells and that's it, you are protected. You need to take some steps with it. Does that make sense? You need to do everything in your capacity before you lay down with content, because this gives you content, this gives you positivity that you have a Rabb that will look after you after you have done everything in your capacity. And this, the ulama say, like in here, min sharri ma khalaq, has talked about every sorts of evil. Now, these three which have been mentioned, they are the one which we are in more need. So these are being specified, and we will talk about this in a different angle later on at the end, inshallah. So ayah number 3, وَمِن شَرِّ غَاسِقٍ إِذَا وَقَبَ, and from the evil of darkness when it settles. What is غاسق? أقيم الصلاة لدلوك الشمس إلى غسق الليل. Okay, when the sun declines and the darkness comes out, or when the sun has been taken over and the night is coming around, so it becomes darker. Or ulama links it to other things as well, like how from injury blood comes out or pus come out. This is same as ghasiq or other things, like the darknesses has spread over. So what you basically saying that your environment has become dark. You have become under fitnas and issues like that. You go family problem, you go job problem, you go other issues. These things have come on you, so you turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because you need to come out. And what is waqab? This is when it becomes proper dark. So the circumstance has reached this stage where you have kindly become hopeless. You turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for you to come out. The night that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in here, وَمِن شَرِّ غَاسِقٍ, because this is the qualities of the night. Yeah. Why the night? The ulama say, what do you seek refuge in here? First of all, if he links it to the life of Rasulullah in Mecca, what were the people planning and what time was it? Killing Rasulullah at night time, and the people who were standing in front of the doors of Rasulullah was at night time. So the criminals' activity happens at night, at that time especially. Now it's behind doors, basically, secret things happen, meetings happen and things like that. So that's why you need to seek refuge of the night. And if you look at the situation in our time, yeah, Friday night, Saturday night, and whatever night, yeah, those nights where many people come out, look at the hospitals, look at the crimes, look at the prisons and things like that, they will be booming, yeah, with happy people. Does that make sense? And same thing on TVs, X-rated stuff happens in night time when it becomes late. So all the filth, basically, the fitnas are more during the night. So you seek refuge with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from any filth of the night, any harm of the night. Same thing people relate to animals and things like that, but we just leave it there. Another thing by ulama saying, وَمِن شَرِّ غَاسِقٍ إِذَا وَقَبْ, there is a subtle link to the beginning where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ. When it's falaq is that, it becomes morning as well. Yeah, we said one of that the night has been split and the day comes out. So by you seeking refuge with the Rabb of the day, when it becomes bright and day comes out, from the night, the evil of the night, there is a subtle link. If you think, ponder over it, when He is the one who will break that night for you and you will come out to the light. Another ayah, and this ayah is we need to focus on. Yeah, وَمِن شَرِّ النَّفَّاثَاتِ فِي الْعُقَدِ, and from the evil of those blowing onto knots. One of the meaning. There are various ways of tackling this surah, so we will start from the first. Those people who attribute this surah to be Madani, they link it with sihr. So those who say the sihr, so basically that it is people who do sihr on knots and things like that, so you seek refuge of their crimes. Not from the sihr itself is here, yeah? It is from what they're planning to do, meaning they have made it their mission, they have made it their motives, no matter how they are looking to cause you harm. But you need to remember, because sihr, in that fashion, it is done with the help of shayateen. It is done with the help of jinns. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Quran, إن الله يدافع عن الذين آمنوا إن الله لا يحب كل خوان كفور. Indeed, Allah defends those who have believed. Indeed, Allah does not like everyone treacherous and ungrateful. Tafseer ibn Kathir says, يخبر تعالى أنه يدفع عن عباده الذين توكلوا عليه وأنابوا إليه شر الأشرار وكيد الفجار ويحفظهم ويكلؤهم وينصرهم. Here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that He defends His servants who put their trust in Him and turns to Him in repentance. He protects them from the worst of evil people and the plots of the sinners. He protects them, guards them and supports them. In a different place Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أَلَيْسَ اللَّهُ بِكَافٍ عَبَدَهُ. Is not Allah sufficient for His servants? In different place, اللَّهُ وَلِيُّ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا يُخْرِجُهُمْ مِنَ الظُّلُمَاتِ إِلَى النُّورِ. Allah is the ally, the friend, the supporter, protector of those who believe. He brings them out of darkness into the light. And the jinn, shaitan, yeah, talking about Iblis or his party, who, according to these people, helps out the magicians. They're talking about them just from the beginning. Yeah? قال أرأيتك هذا الذي كرمت علي لئن أخرتني إلى يوم القيامة لأحتنكن ذريته إلا قليلا. The statement of shaitan against Adam alayhi salam and his progeny. He then continued, look, this is he whom you have exalted above me, talking about Adam alayhi salam. Shaitan is showing his arrogance. Yeah? If you will grant me respite till the day of resurrection, I shall uproot the whole of the progeny except only a few. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala responds, Inna ibadi laysa laka alayhim sultan. Verily, my servants, you have no authority over them. Tafseer ibn Kathir does tafsir of this part. He says, إخبار بتأييده تعالى عباده المؤمنين وحفظه إياهم وحراسته لهم من الشيطان الرجيم. Here Allah tells us that He supports His believing servants and guards and protects them against the accursed shaitan. وكفى بربك وكيلا. And all sufficient is your Lord as a guardian. Meaning حافظا ومؤيدا وناصرا, meaning as a protector, supporter and helper. Nowadays we have made sihr as a god. We fear sihr, magic, more than we fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We do not have trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the way we fear this sihr. Does that make sense? It is total control of Allah subhanahu. If you are with Allah, do whatever it is in your capacity, then turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Know 100%, there is no doubt whatsoever that you will be protected. If you are true with Allah, the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with you. Inna ibadi laysa laka alayhim sultan. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives His verdict, and when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks, He does not speak just to, like nowadays when we speak in the bayans and we say things, yeah, exaggerated stuff. Allah does not do that. He says that which are facts and He lives on to His words. لا تبديل لكلمات الله. His words do not change. Now those people who says it's not related to sihr, because even your mushaf it says Makkiya, so it is not related to that. So now we will look into more details, and this requires your attention a bit. We'll go about 20 minutes here, we'll be able to do that, inshallah. First of all, Ibn Ashur, he says, وَالنَّفْثُ, then the word nafath, yeah, وَمِن شَرِّ النَّفَّاثَاتِ, nafath. Look at that Quran, yeah, nafath. This blowing, what is it? He says, نَفْخٌ مَعَ تَحْرِيكِ اللِّسَانِ بِدُونِ إِخْرَاجِ رِيقٍ. So this is the moving of the tongue without the spits, according to him. And there is a dictionary, it's called Munjid in Arabic, the Urdu to Arabic. He talks about what this nafatha is. So what is nafath? He says nafathahu, he gives example. Nafathahu Allahu shay'un fi qalbih. Allah ne iske dil mein dala, means something goes into your heart. So it's not like spitting in your heart, yeah? It is some sort of thoughts that comes in your heart. وَنُفِثَ فِي رَوْعِ أَوْ قَلْبِ مُجِبْ فَلَا چیز کا ilham hua, something you feel like, yeah, something goes into your heart. It's not something that will spit in your heart. It's not possible, yeah. Another thing, وَفُلَانٌ يَنْفَثُ عَلَى غَضْبَ, you become proper angry, rage because of something that goes, and it says نَافَثَهُ وَمُنَافَثَهُ, chupke baat karna, like you talk in secret and hiddenly. Now the ulama talks about this. What does this relate to? These are the backbites, the slanders, the thing that the people come together and they say they propagate evil things. They have these secret meetings and they talk about, like how it happened in time of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where people came together and they planned to assassinate Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, na'udhu billah. So they came together and they did that. So same thing if you would take it that translation. And there is a hadith as well, yeah. Jibreel nafatha fi raw'i, Jibreel alayhi salam put something in my heart, so nafatha has been used in there. Now, what is uqud? It has come in the Quran in various places, but we'll just reference a few, yeah. It's uqdatun nikah, the contract, the bond of marriage. Uqd al-bay', which is the business agreement, yeah, sales contract. Aqd sharh, aqd hub, and so on. There are various types of bonds basically that happens. Now, are there anything in the Quran which could allude to this kind of situation or not? Yes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, I think this is in Surah Tawbah, يريدون أن يطفئوا نور الله بأفواههم ويأبى الله إلا أن يتم نوره ولو كره الكافرون. They want to extinguish the light of Allah with their mouths, but Allah refuses except to perfect His light, although the disbelievers dislike it. So are there candles out there that they're looking to do that? Is that the situation? No. So with their media war, their newspaper, their evil agendas, their evil backbiting, slander, slogans, whatever that's happening around the world, they look to put down the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So these are what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about. It's not the actual, yeah, that there are some candles out there. Does that make sense? So it's like in a metaphorical sense these things have been talked about. And there are other ulama like Al-Baydawi, he mentions what this one of opinion, yeah, he gives one opinion. So, there is another opinion which is regard to his sihr, but this is one of his opinion where he says, the nearest meaning, I go the Arabic quote, but the nearest meaning that they say that these men who have these huge, amazing, strong azaim, they have the thing that they're going to do, yeah, they have this proper, they have made their mind basically, but then woman comes in, their wife, mother, sister, and they tell, oh no, don't do that, it's going to be like this, oh this guy did this guy did that, and it becomes the guy's fade, the thing he was planning to do, it fades away and it becomes to corruption. It happens, you should know this, it happens in everyone's house basically. Same thing has happened, same opinion has come in a different tafsir. His name is Abdul Dehlawi, one of the people know him, yeah, his tafsir Haqqani, he has this opinion. He has one of this opinion, no, just this opinion. Same thing has come in Tafsir Kabir, Fakhruddin al-Razi, he has one of this opinion. And Al-Kashaf by Zamakhshari, he has brought one of this opinion, which he relates to one of the opinion, which he relates to that it is talking about these either groups of men who sits around, yeah, and they make plans and plots and propagandas against a person, or it is these women's, like for example, to a husband, wife will come and she will say that your dad was like this to me and he was not nice and this, your mom did this and that and this, yeah, and she made me do extra work, she made me cook 3 dishes, yeah, and she pushed me on the street as well, yeah, and she said this against you and she said this against my dad and so on. Now you have this tick that she has done, yeah, like shaitan, this is a black dot in your heart. The same thing has happened. And then he continues in this fashion, yeah, maybe your mom comes and your wife was like this and like that and this and this, now another tick has done against your wife, and he continues in this fashion that it becomes a battleground, a house, yeah. So the women do that, and there is a hadith, the nearest meaning I forgot, they haven't written the hadith down, but talking about Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, these women, how weak they are, fragile from their brain, and what they do. Yeah, it's amazing creation, Allah. So this is that. And when if it's related to jama'at, yeah, because it says nafathat, it's a feminine form, but if it's in jama'ah, if it's a big group of people, then it still uses a feminine form. So of the ulama, they use it as like a group of people that come together, like you go to these people's houses that they have similar mentality, and they think and they plot and they say things about other people, and then one day they come and do something evil, basically, yeah. But they have these such groups of people that they have similar agenda, they have similar thought process, they backbite, they slander and things like that, and they have, like nowadays we have media, yeah, media is in the heart of people, so they say whatever they say against the people. Now look at the newspapers, if they have anything evil that they want you to propagate and they want you to attract people, it will have a Muslim with a hijab on, yeah. So these are the kind of brain that people come together and they have these agenda. And another, we said, yeah, this uqad in here is not the knots, it is the uqad of bones. Like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Quran, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu awfu bil uqud, is uqad, yeah, uqud. So look after your uqad that you have done, the uqad that you have given. What is the translation? Subhanallah, I don't have the translation, but the thing that you have made agreement with Allah subhanahu, your contract, your bond with Allah. So these are also, the Tafseer Ibn Kathir bring like 6 different. So it relates to your bond, whether it's a business, you gave promise to someone, you said to someone, I'll meet you tomorrow at this time, you will meet. This is your uqad, this is your contract that you have given. If you do not, without a valid, proper reason, you are a criminal inside of Allah. This was farad, this was compulsory on you. Does that make sense? So all these are different types of uqud, like uqdatun nikah, it comes in Quran, yeah? The contract, the bond of marriage, it can be broken by saying a few words, yeah? Or people break this uqud of nikah between husband and wife by saying evil thing about the wife to the husband and evil thing about the wife to the, so the opposite, yeah? So mom works on one and dad works on the other, kind of thing, yeah? They team up, or the other way around, husband and wife, they team up on their parents, whatever they do, yeah? So this, to break this uqad, basically. And another sheikh, his name is Ubaidullah Sindi, rahimahullah. He is, I think, the teacher of Abdul Salam, Rustami, and so on. So he's like the teacher of teacher, not just teacher, yeah? He says, and he disregard all other opinions, and he says this relates to your actual natural strength of your brain. Yeah, and we will talk about this. It's related to actually science, and I was doing a research on this. So he says, what he says basically is in Urdu, और हमें इन जमातों के शर से जो पूंग मार मार कर अक्ली अकीदे को कमज़ोर कर देते हैं, that we seek refuge from those groups of people who propagate and propagate till your actual intellect is distorted. And he gives example of India, how these people, these UK guys, yeah, when they went there were few people, but because of their propaganda, they were known as these are the mighty people, these are powerful people, these are this and this. Why? Look at the huge number of Indians. They were under the influence. They couldn't do anything. Why? Because they destroyed their intellect. They worked on their brain. Same thing happens nowadays. Yeah, the Muslims are kept on told, you haven't achieved anything, you haven't done anything, you are like scumbags and this and this and this, you are backward and this. Look, Look at even the cleverest of the guys, yeah, they will talk, oh, like we haven't done anything. Look at these people, how much they have achieved and this and this. In reality, if you look at your history, look at your own people right now, we have achieved amazing feats. We are everywhere. But it's just because what have been put in our brain again and again, we look at even ourselves low. Same thing, it's called nocebo effect. This is a real problem, yeah. And I searched, I didn't just take it from anywhere, yeah. There is a New Zealand health website, government based, and they talk about this, and there is other places as well. And there is a article in BBC with regards to this, and talks about this, and he gives example how it works. When you make people fear, when you make their brain accept go about 6 minutes, yeah. We have so many things to do. I'm like halfway, but what can we do? Yeah. Okay. So the nocebo effect, basically. So what happens? They have taken an article. It talks about a prank people have done on a student. So like these gangster of students that happens in college and university and things like that. There was this one weak, fragile guy, I think in 18th centuries. So they grabbed the guy. Yeah, like what's his name? We'll say the guy name is Steve. Yeah, Steve has been picked up, and he's been told that we're going to kill you now. And the guy has been taken, yeah, and like they have maybe shown him a sword and things like that, and he was put in this chopping thing, yeah, shape thing that happens in you know that thing where they put the neck, yeah, and then they throw stuff on the neck, yeah. So the guy's neck was put on there, yeah, blindfolded and things like that. And before, the guys were only using wet cloth. Before they even hit the guy with the wet cloth, the guy was gone, died. Why? Yeah, this is a history. It's just because the brain has accepted that this will happen to me. There are other various the guys. There is like Mr. A case that have happened recently, where the guy was given placebo, which doesn't have anything medicine in it, basically. Yeah, he was given that he was like on a trial or something like that, but he got fed up from his life because of stress and anxiety and things like that. He took all of it as to do a suicide. And then after a few minutes, the guy regretted. He didn't have azaim, yeah, he didn't have proper motivation. Otherwise, he would have just gone. But anyway, he felt that he couldn't take it anymore, yeah. So he regretted his decision. So he rushed toward the emergency department, and as soon as he reached, he informed the reception, and he was dropped on the floor. And this is like a real thing that has happened. And his heart started pumping, and his blood pressure went high, and so on. And then they did the drug test, the thing that they were saying that he has taken. There was nothing in his blood. And the doctors, when they called, they look at the box that the guy was complaining, it was placebo. It was just a trial. There was nothing in there. It was like sugar, the tablets the guy has taken. But his brain has accepted that he is gone. Yeah, same thing. There is another history that has happened, but I'll leave that to a side. Now look at the opposite side. It's called placebo, yeah, that they give to them ill people, which doesn't have anything in it. It's just sugar kind of tablet that they give. And it has positive effect. While it doesn't touch any organs, it doesn't have any effect. But because the brain accept it, and they get cured. And it has happened. There's a Sydney university website. It was there, yeah, and it talks about history. In World War II, the medic, he was run out of morphine, and the only thing he had was this, what they call it, saline. So it is like water and salt in it, basically. So instead of giving morphine, he gave morphine. Instead of giving that, he gave everyone this water, basically. And more than 40% said that they're feeling better. They're not feeling the wounds and things like that. This was because their brain accepted. And the doctors say that if you inform a patient that this medicine that I'm giving you going to cure you, will have double effect. If you give 2 tablets of this trial placebo, it will have double effect, even though it doesn't do anything with the actual marad. But because what your brain accept, what your brain think, your entire body will take it. This is the power. This is the hub. This is what controls you. So same thing. You are told magic will destroy you. Magic will do this to you. Magic will do that to you. This. As soon as a little thing happens, that's it. You're gone. Another thing. I'll give you my own example. Yeah. In my house, there are people who fear getting flu. As soon as someone sneezes, the guy has flu. But like the kids of mine, yeah, They run around on my face. I don't get any flu. Yeah, but it's just because what your brain has accepted, it will happen to you. Your brain is the main power of your body. We're not saying this has become a god, but we're saying Allah has given these capacity to your brain. Whatever your brain accepts, your body will oblige. So same thing, this propaganda, you have been told you're weak, you're nothing, you're this and this and this. This is the situation of the ummah, that they have become fragile, even though we are so strong. If we, I don't know, I can't give you an example, yeah, but we can do many things with just sitting around, yeah. But leave that. So what is going to be the translation of the surah, of these ayats, if you were to take it in that fashion, which relates to the actual breaking of the bond the Quran mentions, basically. So one translation will be, and from the evil of those groups blowing onto notes. What are these notes? These are coherent beliefs, logical, rational beliefs that becomes reason for it to fail. Or the other one, and from the evil of those women blowing, meaning trying to break with their gossips, with their backbite, with their slandering, with their tales, whatever, onto notes of unity, notes of ittifaq. Yeah, does that make sense? This is true translation, and the other opinion we gave at the beginning. Allahu a'lam. Go to the next ayah. وَمِن شَرِّ حَاسِدٍ إِذَا حَسَدَ, and from the evil of envier when he envies. So this is not from the actual person, but it is when he shows it. Because hasad itself does not harm you until it is shown. This guy is harming himself by having envy against you. And this envy is basically, you have something good, and the guy, Steve, again that same Steve is out there, yeah? This Steve does not want you to have it, and he makes dua to Allah, oh Allah, take it away from him, whether you give it to me or not. But I don't want this guy. Yeah? I don't want this guy to have it. Well, I think comes about Qadr, Shabi Qadr, yeah? The night of Qadr. This guy, he said, one of his neighbor, like Steve and John. So Steve makes dua, and now he has lots of gold and things like that on one of the Qadr. Then the next Qadr, John is waiting for same thing, and he doesn't want Steve to have the gold, yeah? So he waits for this Qadr, and he makes special dua that, oh Allah, whether I have it or not, make sure this guy doesn't have it. So he makes that dua again. So this is kind of mentality. This is like fake story, yeah? But the Qadr doesn't work like this as well, like we mentioned in Laylatul Qadr. But it's just, yeah, there is enmity that people have against other people. Whether you have it or not, you just don't want the guy to have it. It is good. It is from good habit that you see cars with someone, you see nice things with people, people are learning Quran, people are learning things like that, and you want that same thing. Oh Allah, give me blessing like him. Oh Allah, give me lots of wealth like him so I can spend in your path and so on. Yeah, it's good. There's nothing wrong with that. But as long as you don't want evil for the other person, you don't have, that doesn't become like, why does he have it? I mean, now you're doubting Allah. You're saying that Allah hasn't done the right decision. Now you are trying to say that, oh, I should have shared with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in his decision, basically. Yeah, so this is a crime, and there was many things that, because there's so many hadith, beautiful hadith. One we will mention, it says, وَلَا يَجْتَمِعَانِ فِي قَلْبِ عَبْدٍ الْإِيمَانِ وَالْحَسَدِ, and two will never be gathered in the heart of a slave, faith and envy. These two cannot be together. In a different place, Rasulullah said, لا تقاطعوا ولا تدابروا ولا تباغضوا ولا تحاسدوا وكونوا عباد الله إخوانا ولا يحل لمسلم أن يهجر أخاه فوق ثلاث. Do not cut off one another, nor desert one another, nor hate one another, nor envy one another. Be you, O worshippers, O Allah, brothers. It is not lawful for the Muslim to shun his brother for more than 3 days. Does that make sense? It's a serious crime to have hatred against someone, to have envy against someone, to plan evil things against someone, to not have this unity for too long. 3 days is the maximum. Whatever ghussa you have, whatever anger you have, sort it out, become cool, yeah? Become a cool cucumber and come back and have unity with the brothers. And the most enmity that we have, yeah, look at our situation. The most we have envy, hasad, is within our houses. We hate each other. Our brothers hating each other, uncles hating each other, like Turburan. Where did Turburan came from? In Pathan's Pukhto. They're meant to be your like father figures. Yeah, they're meant to be the most that you held on to. But they became our enemy because of this hasad, because of this filth that we have. May Allah safeguard us. But now, just to put all the surah quickly in together, and we will mention the 3 shar. So the beginning, the first 2 talks about you turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for protection. Then it says all shar. But what are the 3 main? The first, number 1. Okay. So min sharri ghasiq, talking about the night, yeah. وَمِن شَرِّ غَاسِقٍ إِذَا وَقَبَ. In the night, people come together. yeah, same minded people, they will come together and they will plan against you. وَمِن شَرِّ النَّفَاثَاتِ فِي الْعُقَدِ, they will plan to do some sort of crazy things against you, and then one crazy person will stand up, وَمِن شَرِّ حَاسِدٍ إِذَا حَسَدَ, and he will carry out something against you. Does that make sense? Because you have made an environment for bad things, some crazy person will stand up, and all of you will be together in this. And this we will study in Surah Shams. Now, where the people of Salih, they killed the naqatu. One person killed the camel, yeah, but the entire people were held for it. Why? Because they made environment for this kind of hostility, for this crime to happen. They agreed by having this kind of environment, for propagating such kind of attitude, such kind of behavior. So may Allah bring back us to the Quran. May Allah forgive our shortcomings. Jazakallah khair for coming. May Allah accept you. May Allah keep you strong with Quran, and may Allah protect you from all sorts of shurur. Jazakallah khair. Barakallahu li wa lakum fil Quran azim, wa nafa'ani wa iyyakum bil ayati wa dhikril hakim.